this is my review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, so this episode's a race against the clock because now that Red Hot Chili Pepper knows where Joseph is, it's only a matter of time before he actually finds him and kills him. So the group has to work quickly to take down Red Hot Chili Pepper and his stand user, or Joseph is dead and they have no second chance. So what happens was Josuke and Okiyasu analyze the boat they're going to use to go catch up to Joseph with, and go meet him on the boat. And sure enough, they can't find Red Hot Chili Pepper anywhere. They can't find him in the battery, and assume it's most likely safe. However, Jotaro has Koichi and Josuke stay behind, pointing out that Red Hot Chili Pepper's stand user is most likely stealing an RC called a helicopter, which, due to Red Hot Chili Pepper's ability, would most likely be able to reach the boat a lot faster than it would with an actual boat. So for that, he actually asked them to stay behind and figure out where exactly it is that Red Hot Chili Pepper is hanging out and where his stand user is. So, and with that, he leaves with Okiyasu to go to the boat. And sure enough, Josuke and Koichi begin searching for Red Hot Chili Pepper stand user. And are then completely thrown for a loop when the stand user himself, Akira Otoshi, actually shows himself out of the blue. And Otoshi reveals what kind of person he is in the matter of minutes. So he points out that he's not, in addition to being a criminal mastermind who likes to steal things from other people in Mario, he also aspires to one day be a world famous guitarist, and to that end carries a guitar with him everywhere he goes. But in case he's also confident that he can actually beat Josuke and Koichi in minutes, pointing out that he only needs a few minutes that it'll only take about 8 minutes for the boat to actually reach the bigger boat, and points out that if, as long as he beats them quickly, he will most likely have more than enough time to use his RC helicopter, which he did indeed wind up stealing to actually get to the boat. And also boasts through Red Hot Chili Pepper that he can beat them both with his pinky. And in retaliation, Josuke breaks his pinky. But instead of getting mad, Otoshi actually uses that pain to fuel a guitar riff, which Josuke and Koichi remark is actually pretty impressive, and remark how talented he is. But shortly after this, Josuke and Otoshi start fighting, and Josuke immediately goes in for a punch, but is thrown for a loop when Otoshi seems to move behind him almost at lightning fast speed, and remarks that it's a little bit odd remarks how surprising it is that a stand user has supernatural abilities, even though it's usually relegated to their stand and not them. And Koichi, who had watched the whole thing, points out that's not actually what happened. As it turns out, Red Hot Chili Pepper just popped out from underneath the ground and spun Josuke around 180 degrees, so he was facing the opposite direction. And sure enough, underneath Josuke's feet is an entire network of power lines that enable Red Hot Chili Pepper to basically pop out like a game of whack-a-mole and just hit Josuke without much effort. And in addition to that, as Josuke attempts to fight Red Hot Chili Pepper, he makes more holes, which makes it a lot easier for Red Hot Chili Pepper to come out and surprise him. And sure enough, Otoshi gloats about this, pointing out that there's no real way that the two of them combined can actually defeat Red Hot Chili Pepper, even with Koichi spying on where he's going to pop out next, because he's just too fast. However, Josuke remarks that he can still fight and can still defeat Red Hot Chili Pepper, and tells Koichi to keep doing the strategy he's doing, and that he should know what he's thinking by now. And sure enough, Koichi figures out immediately what's going through Josuke's head. As it turns out, Crazy Diamond's abilities actually caused all of the concrete and asphalt underneath Josuke's feet to revert to coal tar, which caused all the holes to be clogged up, making it a lot easier for Josuke to actually figure out where they're coming out. And sure enough, with Koichi pointing out where and when Red Hot Chili Pepper pops out, Josuke is easily able to finally land a hit on Red Hot Chili Pepper. And Otoshi isn't too happy about it. He remarks that he's not exactly happy about the fact that he suddenly Josuke suddenly was able to hit him, and remarks that he's taken a bit of a lax approach up until now, but then uses the full extent of Red Hot Chili Pepper's power. And sure enough, uses Red Hot Chili Pepper to drain the entirety of Morio's power grid just to fuel Stan's power. And also points out that the reason he hasn't done this up until now is because, well, basically and the obvious thing is that it would leave Morio without any power and it would drain it to zero for a while. And so he can't fight at full power all the time. But in case he decides to do that now, mainly because he thinks it'll be enough to finish off Josuke. And sure enough, he's able to not only keep up with Josuke, but actually manages to overpower him and send him flying into a nearby truck. And then goes in to finish him off. But then it's revealed that Josuke had a plan. As it turns out, he broke a tire when he landed, and he managed to trap Red Hot Chili Pepper inside of it. So basically, Red Hot Chili Pepper isn't able to do anything while inside the tire because the tire is made of rubber, for obvious reasons, it does not conduct electricity. So yeah, basically Josuke beat Otoshi with science. It's pretty clever, but Otoshi points out that it's even then that's not going to be enough to contain his stand, pointing out that even rubber has its limits, and sure enough his stand just bursts out of the tire. However, Josuke remarks that was also part of his plan, pointing out that it was actually a full tire, and since now there's a big giant ass hole in the tire, it actually sends Red Hot Chili Pepper flying into the ocean, where he then proceeds to dissipate, and Otoshi is notably dead on his feet, or at least they think. And I'll get to that in a minute. But in case, Koichi uses his stand to report the good news back to Jotaro, and Jotaro is pleased that they were able to deal with Otoshi quickly and that he didn't have to get involved, and now the old man is safe. So he's happy that Koichi was able to deal with that Koichi and Josuke were able to deal with the threat on their own without much interference, and that now his grandfather is safe, and he's happy with that. So, but in case Okuyasu decides while they're on the boat to figure out what kind of man Josuke's father actually is, and proceeds to try and strike up a conversation with him, which goes about as well as you would expect because he's a 71-year-old man and is a bit hearing impaired. So he has a bit of a problem trying to actually keep up with what Okuyasu was actually saying, pointing out that he kind of is a little bit delusional. This whole thing, his brain's slowly starting to go. So he's repeating himself a lot. He's hearing impaired, so he has a lot of trouble hearing what Okuyasu is actually saying. But he is eventually able to hold a cohesive conversation with Okuyasu, and sure enough asks a pretty big important question that if Josuke ever talks about him, and Okuyasu responds as far as he knows that he does not, and Joseph seems a little bit disappointed by that. So yeah, Joseph seems to want to have a good relationship with his son, and he doesn't. And sure enough, his son never really talked about him all that much. And there's a good reason for that. Basically Joseph just kind of, I'm just saying this, but basically Joseph just had an affair with Josuke's mom and then left, and then they never heard from him again. But it's not always clear that Tomoko has definitely still has feelings for Joseph, but Josuke has mixed feelings about his father as well, and even remarks as much to Koichi, pointing out that he's not entirely sure what kind of man his father is. He never really knew his father, and he's kind of has mixed feelings about actually meeting him for the first time. However, both of these incidents are actually cut abruptly short when Koichi realizes that Otoishi's body has suddenly disappeared, and it's not entirely clear where he went. So Koichi immediately uses his stand to contact Jotaro and point out that Otoishi is still alive and probably somewhere on the boat. And sure enough, the Speedwagon Foundation actually scrambles their members of the people who are on the boat, and one of the people actually comes into the room where Joseph and Okuyasu are, and quickly realizes that there's another man in there that is actually Otoishi. But nobody else on the boat knows that because they've never seen his face before. So Otoishi turns it completely around and blames the Speedwagon Foundation member and calls him Otoishi. And basically, it's an I Am Spartacus moment where Okuyasu winds up being in the middle because now he has to figure out who's really Otoishi, and he has literally no time to do it because Red Hot Chili Pepper is actually emerging from the outlet near Joseph's head. And he has to do it quickly, or Joseph will die. And eventually he decides he eventually just decides to punch one of them and hope he's right, as he admits later. And as it turns out, he did wind up being right and actually winds up defeating Otoishi. Although he remarks that he was going to punch both of them and that he really wasn't going to make much of a choice either way. So he's just happy that he got right the first time. But in any case, Otoishi is arrested and promptly detained, and Joseph has a heartwarming moment with his son. He goes to greet his son for the first time, pointing out that but as in the process he actually trips and breaks his cane, at which point Josuke actually catches him and tells him that he should hold his hand for stability since he's not going to be able to walk without it. And it's a very cute moment, and the only person who doesn't seem to get that is Okuyasu, who's like, wait, Crazy Diamond can fix things. Why don't we have him fix the cane? It works perfectly. But Koichi talks him down, pointing out that he's a bit of an idiot, and points out that it's better if it stays broken, which Okuyasu doesn't seem to ever get. So, well, it's Okuyasu. He's even self-aware of the fact that he isn't all that smart. So, yeah, Okuyasu knows he's not the brace tool in the shed. So there's really no excuse for this. He's just dumb. There's no real other explanation other than he's dumb and doesn't get the touching symbolism. But as Jotaro sees his grandfather and his uncle, I think, finally, at the very least, start to patch up their rough relationship. Jotaro remarks that it's most likely finally over, and all he needs to do now is find out where the bow and arrow is, and hopefully stop the threat to Morio. However, that's not actually what happens, because in the final scene, and we never see what actually happened, but an unknown killer, presumably the same killer from this cold open of the very first episode. But an unknown killer pretends that one of his severed hands is one of his girlfriends, I think, is taking a bath. So yeah, we never see the killer, but it's heavily implied that it's the same guy because it's once again another severed hand. So yeah, we never see his face or anything else. We just see the severed hand. It's in the bathroom. It looks like it's a woman taking a bath, but then it just pulls back the curtain and no. It's actually just a severed hand, and it's most likely the same guy. So, yeah, that guy's still running around on Morio, and we haven't even come close to seeing who he is yet. So, I'm assuming eventually the show is going to drop that other shoe and finally reveal who that guy is. And I'm assuming he's going to wind up being a major antagonist going forward because Otoishi kind of got defeated, and he was the only guy, and he was the guy who was last seen with the bow and arrow. So, yeah. I'm not entirely sure who's going to steal the bow and arrow next and try to make more stand users with it. But it's clear that that is going to be another plot thread, and they still have to address the killer who's been apparently cutting off women's hands and using them as trophies. They haven't explained that yet. So hopefully all of those get addressed soon. I'm not entirely sure when, but soon. But in any case, yeah. that's my review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What did you guys think? Let's get a discussion in the comment section down below. Or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also be sure to check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that I'm always saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!